The 2025 Formula One Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona was full of drama, especially for the Ferrari team. Charles Leclerc took advantage of the chaos at the end of the race to secure his second consecutive podium finish. However, Lewis Hamilton had another disappointing weekend, finishing in 6th place and calling the race the worst I have ever experienced in terms of balance. Ferrari boss Frédéric Vasseur finally spoke out. What really happened at Ferrari? Let's discuss it, and don't forget to subscribe. Lewis Hamilton started the race as the leading Ferrari, carrying high hopes from the red team. However, the pressure came not from outside rivals but from within his own garage. Charles Leclerc, the aggressive Monégasque driver, had been close behind since the first lap. At every turn and acceleration out of the chicane, Hamilton saw a red shadow in his mirrors. By the 9th lap, Leclerc's intensity forced the team to consider a strategic option, a position swap. Behind the wheel, Hamilton struggled to maintain control. He radioed the team to report a lack of grip at the rear of his car, a crucial issue making it difficult to maintain pace and stability. Meanwhile, the gap to the drivers ahead widened, ballooning to more than 10 seconds and causing deep frustration in the number 44 cockpit. Even when the safety car came in and gave him a golden opportunity to close the gap, Hamilton was unable to mount a meaningful attack. The drama escalated in the final laps. When Nico of Sauber slipped past Hamilton on the penultimate lap, Hamilton fell further behind, adding to the disappointment of his day. However, the steward's decision to penalize Max Verstappen ultimately saved Hamilton, who finished the race in 6th place. It was a solid result on paper, but Hamilton's face in the Ferrari paddock was anything but smiling. He knew he hadn't been much of a threat that day. After exiting his car, Hamilton walked slowly toward the paddock area. He looked tired, his eyes were dull, and his shoulders were slightly slumped, the expression of a frustrated world champion. Hamilton could only offer a brief, bitter comment to Sky Sports. Not really. It wasn't a great day. The strategy was good. The team did a great job. That's it. However, when Sky reporter Rachel Brooks tried to lighten the mood, saying, "I hate seeing you in this mood," Hamilton finally broke down. "Okay, what do you want me to say? I've just had a bad day, and there's nothing more to say. It's been a really tough day. There's nothing to add. It's been awful. There's no point in explaining it. It's not your fault. I just don't know what to say," he said bitterly. His eyes stared blankly as if he were still processing what had just happened on the track. Hamilton, a legendary driver and 7-time world champion renowned for his calmness and genius behind the wheel, now looked lost. When asked if the team would be able to find an answer to his lack of pace that day, he could only slowly shake his head. "I'm sure there won't be an answer. Maybe it's just me. I don't know why it was so bad. It was the worst race I've ever had in terms of balance," he said in a whisper, as if talking to himself. Ferrari team boss Frédéric Vasseur immediately stepped in to quell the rampant speculation in the paddock and on social media. In interviews with several media outlets, including Motorsport Week, Vasseur emphasized that Lewis Hamilton's struggles were not merely due to adapting to a new driver or the team's flawed pit strategy. According to Vasseur, there were real issues directly related to the Ferrari SF-25 car. "You are experienced enough not to draw conclusions from just the first words of a driver," Vasseur said firmly. "If you want to create a controversy, go ahead, but the reality is not like that. I think he finished 70% ahead of George Russell. I don't think Russell said the race was a disaster. Then, we had a problem with the car on the last lap before the safety car, and the result was not good. Still, he finished 45 laps ahead of Russell." This is not the first time that Ferrari has encountered technical difficulties this season. The Maranello team has struggled with aerodynamics, cooling, and tire management issues several times. However, when Hamilton, a Formula One icon with 7 world championship titles, was directly affected, the tension and public spotlight increased immediately. This situation put Vasseur in a difficult position. He had to reassure his new driver while ensuring that Ferrari's technical team found a solution to restore the SF-25's performance. Ferrari fans and Hamilton supporters hope this problem is temporary and will not affect the rest of the season. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc experienced several obstacles during the race. In the final laps, the Monégasque driver's lap time dropped drastically, nearly costing him 3rd place when George Russell and Max Verstappen collided at Turn 5. Ferrari fans held their breath, worried that Leclerc would fail to secure a podium finish. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff had previously suggested that an oil spill from Leclerc's Ferrari had caused problems on the track and may have been a factor in the incident between Russell and Verstappen. However, Ferrari boss Frédéric Vasseur strongly denied the allegations. "We had a small problem with the other car, but it wasn't oil," Vasseur said in the paddock. "I don't know where it came from. I really don't know." Despite the pressure and his car's declining performance, Leclerc managed to hold onto his position until the finish line, securing his second consecutive podium. For Ferrari, this result offers a glimmer of hope amid a challenging season. At least one of their drivers can still compete at the front and keep their title hopes alive. Lewis Hamilton's former Mercedes teammate, Nico Rosberg, now a regular commentator on Sky Sports F1, has finally spoken out about Hamilton's disappointing performance last weekend, which surprised many, including Rosberg himself. Rosberg could not hide his sympathy when he saw the seven-time world champion struggle on the track, seemingly losing his trademark direction and competitiveness. Sunday was a terrible day for him because he was so slow out there, something that is very unusual for Lewis, Rosberg said. "Yes, sometimes he is not at his best in qualifying, but he usually performs well in the race and can recover. But this time, his performance was really bad. What's worse is that he had no answers for the problem he had." Rosberg suspected minor damage to the Mercedes floor, a sensitive component that can significantly impact overall performance. Regardless of the technical possibility, Rosberg stressed that, mentally, this was a very painful situation for a driver of Hamilton's caliber. "When you don't know what happened, it's really tough mentally as a driver," Rosberg continued. "Especially when you see your teammate, George Russell, fighting hard for the podium while you're struggling to even get into the top 10. Given the season he has had so far, it's a really bleak, stressful, and difficult situation to watch, even for me, someone who was once very close to him." With Lewis Hamilton's performance under increasing pressure, Ferrari finds itself at a critical crossroads. On the one hand, they have Charles Leclerc, a young driver who has consistently performed well, bringing home important points in every race and keeping Ferrari's name flying high in the standings. But they face a major challenge: how to maximize the potential of a seven-time world champion who has not yet found full comfort behind the wheel of the SF-25. The Spanish Grand Prix is a mirror and an important alarm for the Ferrari team. The question is emerging: are the technical problems that emerged at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya just a minor disturbance that can be overcome quickly, or are they a serious sign that Ferrari needs to deeply evaluate the design and development direction of their cars? This situation forces the team to reconsider whether their package is truly capable of competing with their main rivals. An equally important question is whether it's time for Ferrari to take a special approach to help Lewis Hamilton adapt to the car's characteristics, the team's working style, and this season's competition dynamics. Write your opinion below.